10 songs, not just songs, coordinates on a map you've been carrying your whole life. These are the sounds that found you before you knew what music was supposed to do to a person. You felt them in your chest, in some car, some basement, some Saturday afternoon that turned into something you still haven't put down. And here's what most people who love these songs have never known. The real stories behind them are even better than the music. Let's go. Number 10, Pipeline, the Chantays, 1963. The youngest kid in this band was 13 years old, just 13. Never played a show outside his neighborhood in his life. And he and 4 other kids from the same high school in Santa Ana, California, went ahead and made one of the most iconic instrumentals in rock history. You already know this one, you don't have to try. That reverb-soaked guitar just rolls right in the moment you think of it, clean and inevitable. Like a wave you can see forming from 30 yards. Nobody bothers to mention, they didn't even call it Pipeline at first. They called it Liberty's Whip, named after a Western film they liked. Then they saw surfing footage of the Bonsai Pipeline break in Hawaii, renamed it, recorded it in July of 1962 at a small studio in Downey, California. And here's the part that gets me every time. Pipeline was the B-side. The record label put a different song, Move It, on the A-side. That was the one they were pushing. Then a radio station in California flipped the record, played the back instead. Listeners started calling in, and the B-side climbed all the way to number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100. First surf record to crack the Billboard Top 10. These kids, still in high school, ended up performing on the Lawrence Welk Show. If you know anything about the Lawrence Welk Show, you already know how wild that sentence is. The only rock band to ever play that stage. They never had another national hit, one song, one summer. But the street in front of Santa Ana High School, their school, has been named Chantays Way ever since. And that riff has lived in movies, radio, and deep memory for more than 60 years without asking a single person's permission. If you were a kid in 1963, that sound was the beginning of something. You just didn't have words for it yet. Number 9, Wooly Bully, Sam the Sham and the Pharaohs, 1965. Here's a question. What was the number 1 song of 1965? Not number 1 for a week, number 1 for the whole year, according to Billboard magazine's year-end chart. If you said Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones, solid guess. That was number 3, Help by the Beatles, number 7. The actual number 1 song of 1965 was Wooly Bully by Sam the Sham and the Pharaohs. The one with the counting intro in 2 different languages and a chorus that doesn't entirely make sense, bigger than all of it. Now, here's the twist. Wooly Bully was the biggest selling single of 1965, and it never once hit number 1 on the weekly chart. It peaked at number 2, twice, held off first by Help Me Rhonda from the Beach Boys, then by Back in My Arms Again from the Supremes. 3 million copies worldwide, Billboard's record of the year. And not a single day at the top of the weekly chart. And the band, Domingo Samudio, who called himself Sam the Sham, hauled their equipment to every show in a 1952 Packard hearse with maroon velvet curtains. They wore turbans and Egyptian robes on stage. They were specific and bizarre and entirely themselves, and audiences could not get enough of it. The song was Billboard's Record of the Year for 1965. It was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame in 2009. And if you've been humming that uno, dos, 1, 2, tres, cuatro to yourself since you were a kid, and you know exactly who you are, then you understand why none of those technicalities matter. That song is permanently installed.
Let's look at the numbers. Only 9% of you are actually subscribed. Honestly, that's tough to see. Our team spends days hunting down archives and verifying every single fact just to tell these stories right. If you've made it this far into the video, you're clearly part of the community, so please hit subscribe. It costs nothing and helps us immensely. Now, for those already subscribed, very few of you have made the jump to our membership, and that's a hard pill to swallow because you're the ones who know our value best. If this channel has moved you or inspired you, consider joining. It's the price of one coffee, but it's the literal fuel for this channel. Let's keep this alive together. Back to the story.
Number 7, Wild Thing, The Troggs, 1966. The songwriter got a phone call. A record producer needed something rock and roll, needed it fast. Could he have something by the end of the week? The songwriter sat down with a guitar, 3 chords, and about 15 minutes of actual work. That was it. Demo done. Sent it over. The songwriter's name was Chip Taylor. You might know it, might not. But here's the part that always lands. Chip Taylor's real name was James Voight. He was the brother of actor John Voight, which makes him the uncle of Angelina Jolie. One of the most famous families in Hollywood, and tucked quietly inside it, the man who wrote 3 chords and a come on, and accidentally defined an era. The song was first recorded by a group called the Wild Ones. Total flop, vanished. But a demo found its way to England, where a band from Andover called the Troggs heard it and fell for it completely. Their lead singer, Reg Presley, was working as a bricklayer when Wild Thing started climbing the UK charts. Bricklayer, and then on July 30th, 1966, it hit number 1 in the United States, the United Kingdom, Australia, and New Zealand. And then Jimi Hendrix played it at the Monterey Pop Festival in June 1967. With his teeth behind his head, and then he poured lighter fluid on his guitar and burned it on stage. That specific moment is still considered one of the great live rock performances in history, built on a song written in 15 minutes by a bricklayer's brother. But here's the wildest footnote. In 1972, a leaked recording of the Troggs bickering and swearing during a studio session, 137 profanities in 10 minutes, thick English accents, complete chaos, circulated underground for years. It was called the Troggs tapes. Rob Reiner has said it was a direct inspiration for This Is Spinal Tap, 3 chords, 1 15-minute demo, and somewhere in the footnotes, rock's greatest mockumentary. Number 6, Tighten Up, Archie Bell and the Drells, 1966.
Now, come on, baby. Yeah. Everybody tighten up now.
With his draft notice sitting on the table, took that dance, went into the studio in August 1967, and built a song around it.
Don't you get, well, what's up, baby? Don't you get too tight. Come on, let's tighten it.
The instrumental was partly from a Houston group called the TSA Coronado, who've been playing a version of it in their live sets.
Tighten up now. Come on now. Tighten up now.
They were blatant to the night to get it right, and almost immediately after the session, Archie was gone, drafted to Vietnam.
Tighten it up, yeah. I said, if you can do it now.
Atlantic Records picked up the single for national distribution in early 1968. It entered the Billboard Hot 100 in March and climbed to number 1 on both the pop chart and the R&B chart simultaneously. One of the earliest funk records in music history, ranked 265 on Rolling Stone's 500 Greatest Songs, and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has noted it as the only number 1 hit by an active Vietnam soldier.
Oh, come on now. Now let that guitar fall in now. Come on.
While Archie was overseas, fake versions of Archie Bell and Monroe started popping up and touring the country. The real band had another member step in and pretend to be Archie just to make the demand. He didn't get discharged and come home until late 1969, a full year after the song had already run its course.
Oh yeah. Tighten up now.
And somewhere in the middle of all that, he heard it on Armed Forces Radio. His own voice, his own song, the thing he and Billy made on the worst day of that week, to shake off some fear, to find a little joy before everything changed.
I said to be outside. Come on now.
Whether that's the cruelest version of a hit record or the most extraordinary one, I honestly don't know. I'll leave that one with you. Number 5, 96 Tears and the Mysterians, 1966. His name is question mark. That's it. That's the legal name. He's gone by nothing else for nearly 60 years, never removes his sunglasses in public, and has consistently maintained, with complete seriousness, that his soul did not originate on this planet. He claims to be from Mars, and in 1966, he and 4 other kids hit number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 with one of the most haunting organ riffs ever pressed to vinyl. The Mysterians were the sons of Mexican migrant workers who had settled in and around the Saginaw Valley in Michigan. They weren't playing Hollywood or New York. They were playing bars near Detroit, working-class kids from a working-class community with no industry connections and no obvious path to anything. The band was named after a 1957 Japanese science fiction film about alien creatures called the Mysterians. And question mark, born Rudy Martinez, or maybe not, since he disputes even his own birth name, has played that role fully and without irony for decades. They found a Mexican-American woman named Miss Gonzalez, who ran a small 4-track recording studio in Bay City, Michigan, and believed in them when nobody else did. She started a tiny label called Pa Go Go Records just for the occasion, and when they pressed 500 copies of 96 Tears, the band walked those records to radio stations and record shops themselves, by hand, one at a time. A Houston DJ picked it up. Neil Bogart at Cameo Parkway heard it and bought the rights. Atlantic distributed it nationally, and on October 22nd, 1966, 96 Tears hit number 1. 1 million copies sold. Sons of migrant workers. A studio in Michigan nobody's heard of. 500 hand-delivered singles that somehow found the right pair of ears. And if you grew up hearing that organ riff on AM radio and felt like it came from somewhere outside this world entirely, maybe, according to one source anyway, it did. Number 4, Crimson and Clover, Tommy James and the Chantays, 1968. It was 3 in the morning. The session had just ended. Tommy James was exhausted, running on nothing. He and his engineer had been working all night, and what they had in front of them was a rough mix, unfinished, imperfect. Tommy described it later as mixed with his elbows. He was going to come back the next week and do it properly. He never got the chance. A radio station got hold of that rough mix and put it on the air. The calls wouldn't stop. The label rushed it out as is. that 3 in the morning draft of Crimson and Clover went to #1 in February 1969 and sold 5 million copies. Tommy James and the Shondells' biggest song ever, an unfinished mix that nobody was supposed to hear yet. Here's what makes this one of the great studio stories of the era. The song was one of the first recordings ever made on 16-track equipment. Tommy played most of the instruments himself, and that wobbling, wavering vocal fade at the end of the song, that wasn't a synthesizer. Nobody had done anything quite like it on a pop record before. They plugged the vocal microphone directly into a guitar amplifier that had the tremolo effect switched on, and recorded Tommy's voice being processed through the same circuitry that makes guitars wobble. That's what you hear when he sings Crimson and Clover over and over at the end. A human voice dissolving into something you couldn't quite name. The context matters. By late 1968, Tommy James knew the landscape was shifting. FM radio was happening, albums were happening, songs were getting longer, more serious. He'd been running bubblegum hits, Hanky Panky, I Think We're Alone Now, Moni Moni, and he could feel the ground moving. He and drummer Peter Lucia sat down and wrote something different. 2 words with no particular meaning. His favorite color, his favorite flower, a title he had before he had a song. And that accidental, unfinished, 3 in the morning version of it is what the world got, and can. Where were you the first time that fade out Greenbaum, 1969? Norman Greenbaum grew up in an Orthodox Jewish household in Malden, Massachusetts. Hebrew school, synagogue, no gospel music, no country music, no particular background in Christian theology whatsoever. And in 1969, he wrote the song that's been in more than 65 movies, 30-plus commercials, and has shown up at more stadiums, funerals, and Olympic ceremonies than you could count. Here's exactly how it happened. Greenbaum was sitting at home in California one night, watching television. Country singer Porter Wagoner came on and performed a gospel song about a preacher going on vacation, and something clicked. I thought, I could do that? Greenbaum said later. Knowing nothing about gospel music, I sat down and wrote my own gospel song. The lyrics took 15 minutes. 15. He used the name Jesus not out of personal faith, he said that plainly, but because he thought it would connect with more people. He was a songwriter making a calculation, and the calculation was correct. The record company looked at it and said they didn't think radio would play a 4-minute single with lyrics about Jesus. They were wrong. Spirit in the Sky peaked at #3 on the Billboard Hot 100 in 1970, sold 2 million copies in under a year, and went to #1 in multiple countries. And the guitar riff, that grinding, fuzz-soaked, unstoppable groove, came from a Fender Telecaster a friend had modified with a built-in fuzz box. The moment Greenbaum heard it through that fuzz, he said he knew. That was the record. The Stovall Sisters Gospel Choir from Oakland gave it the soaring backbone it needed. Some Christians objected to him, a Jewish man, writing about Jesus, especially the line, "Never been a sinner, I never sinned." He said he just didn't know better. He was reaching for something true, and this is what came out, 1968. Doug Engel was sitting at his Vox keyboard in the house where Iron Butterfly had been living together in Laurel Canyon, Los Angeles. He was drinking Red Mountain wine. And and he was playing a slow, gentle country ballad he'd written, about 90 seconds long, that he'd been calling In the Garden of Eden. Drummer Ron Bushy came home and found him there, asked what the song was called. Doug Ingle tried to say, In the Garden of Eden. That's not what came out. What Bushy heard and wrote down was something closer to In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida. And that slurred, wine-softened phrase became one of the most famous song titles in rock history. The recording happened on May 27, 1968, at Ultrasonic Studios in Hempstead, New York. What started as a 90-second gentle ballad had grown, through months of rehearsal and rearrangement and added solos, into 17 minutes and 5 seconds of acid rock. A 2.5-minute drum solo by Ron Bushy in the middle, guitar, organ, a song that didn't end so much as exhaust itself. And it took up the entire second side of the album. Flip the record, drop the needle, and you had 17 straight minutes of Iron Butterfly before side B was done. In 1968, that was almost incomprehensible, but the newly launched FM radio format embraced the full version completely. It became a rite of passage. You sat through all of it, or you weren't paying the right kind of attention. The album sold over 30 million copies. It was once the best-selling record in the entire Atlantic Records catalog, held that title until Led Zeppelin 4 came along. And in 1995, The Simpsons episode, Bart Sells His Soul, used it perfectly. Bart listed the song in the church hymn book as In the Garden of Eden by Iron Butterfly. The congregation sang dutifully along for several minutes before Reverend Lovejoy realized this sounded, as he put it, like rock and/or roll. A drunk mistake in a Laurel Canyon kitchen became 30 million album sales and a Simpsons punchline. If you sat through all 17 minutes in one uninterrupted listen back in the day, you know something about yourself that most people still don't. Number 1, Louie Louie, The Kingsmen, 1963. In 1963, 5 teenagers from Portland, Oregon, walked into a small studio and recorded a song for $50. One microphone, one tape. Lead singer Jack Ely, who had braces on his teeth, stood too far from the microphone. The whole thing came out sounding like a man singing through a wall. Barely intelligible, chaotic, and impossibly magnetically alive. The song was Louie Louie, and the lyrics were completely clean. Richard Berry had written it in 1955, a gentle Caribbean love song, a sailor missing his girl, singing his feelings to a bartender named Louie. Parents started hearing things, imagining things. Handwritten transcripts of what people thought the lyrics said started circulating among teenagers, among parents, among teachers.
Okay, let's give it to him right now.
A father from Sarasota wrote a letter to Attorney General Robert Kennedy. The letter said, "The lyrics are so filthy that I cannot enclose them in this letter." At 33 1/3 RPM, and at speeds even slower than that, they interviewed Richard Berry. End of all of it. 119 pages. The official conclusion was that the lyrics of Louie Louie were unintelligible at any speed. The same agency tracking spies and organized crime spent more than a year